about it, and here we are. We're doing it in January.
Which is exciting. So, social enterprises is a huge buzzword around it, and I've been actually amazed about how many social enterprises are now being started, and doing that, and particularly some of our stuff with co-starters in helping others establish social enterprises. So it's great to see you doing that, Justin. So, Christina, like we met, I think probably about a month or two ago now. We had a
Yes,
great
we
chat
did.
with you and your husband Ian. So tell us a bit about yourself and tell us about Nobel Endeavours as well.
So I'm a fairly newcomer to Nobel Endeavours. I've been involved in the project with Ian now for just over 3 years. The reason I became involved was because I fell in love, and both Ian and I had lost our spouses, and we met each other, and he had a vision and I had a passion for the vision, and so after we got married I became involved in Nobel Endeavours. And so Nobel Endeavours is a social enterprise. It was started back in 2008 at the time that Ian's previous wife collapsed over in the Philippines, and part of their response to the tragedy or the situation that they found themselves in was to go and find something that they could do that would make a difference, that would create a legacy. And after Ian's wife passed away, he continued on with that legacy project. It started initially with educating children and expanded to manage some of the health issues that the people in this remote area of Mindanao experienced. But then just as about the time that I met Ian, he was realising that he needed to follow the vision that he'd originally had in his heart, which was to create sustainable communities, communities that weren't reliant on just handouts, but communities that could actually, with input of knowledge, input of infrastructure, could actually produce agricultural products that would lead to the communities being self-sufficient and self-sustaining. So that's where Nobel Endeavours is at this time, and its partner Ethical Harvest, which is a for-profit company, is the company, is the organisation that sources contracts for products that farmers can grow through sponsorship and training by Nobel Endeavours. So it's a bit of a social enterprise that's unique, I think, different to a lot of other social enterprises.
So, Christina, let's just back up a bit here. Like the health stuff that you guys have been able, you really transformed how many babies are now surviving childbirth in your area, which is quite a remarkable story in itself.
Yeah, so I guess when Ian first went into the area, he found that 3 children in 10 would die before their 5th birthday, and children were hungry, they were severely malnourished. So over the years since 2008, part of what's happened is Noble Endeavours, together with sponsors, has put in a clean water supply so that no children die now from waterborne diseases. And the other thing that's to deal with the whole area of malnutrition was children were provided with a hot meal every day. And as we look at stats now, we can see that in the area that we work in, children, there are no longer any severely malnourished children, that most children are well fed. There are a few that are still undernourished, but generally the stats that we've got from the local government area shows that there's been a dramatic improvement with those children. And as far as babies and mothers go, there was 3 women in 10 that would die within 12 months of having a baby. And that was generally due to the fact that they were delivering their babies on the dirt floors of homes with midwives that didn't understand about the necessity for using clean implements, and so a lot of the mothers became septic, and because there was no medical help around, they would and die before they could get to hospitals. So just through training, through using the women that are in our program to be informed about the necessity for healthy practices in delivering babies, and for utilising the government-built birthing centre, which often the women wouldn't go to because they were a bit scared about what it was all about. They didn't understand what it was about. So very simply, just through education, we've been able to change that. So we haven't had any women die since 2010.
So, Christina, that in itself is quite a huge change and transformation to the society in itself. And so it's come mainly through education and obviously through other programs that you've got running. But then, so from there, you've gone to this next stage, because it's about now not only helping them with their health and their education, but actually helping them to earn an income.
Yes, I think one of the things that you often see with aid projects is there is a continual, you can put money into running a school, or you can put money into educating children, and you can put it into health initiatives. And I guess with the things that we've done, we've definitely seen some sort of progress there. But one of the things we realised too was that nothing was really changing for the families economically. And so with our team, we looked at why is that not happening? These farmers, because predominantly the communities we're working in are farming communities, why is it that nothing's changing? These people are working really hard, but they're still living at a subsistence level. And often it was because they didn't have extensive knowledge about agriculture, simple things like crop rotation and planting certain crops to replenish the nutrient base of the soil. A lot of the things they were growing were commodities, and so in a good season the price would go down, in a poor season the price would go up, but they'd have nothing to sell. So we started thinking there must be a way in which farmers can produce an agricultural product that they can sell at a consistent price that's not based on the commodity market. And so in 2014, we decided to start a milk goat dairy, and that's been a huge success. And basically the farmers that have been involved in the farm share program with us have tripled their income within 12 months. And that's enabled them to have their children go to school and stay at school and not be pulled out to work on farms. And even some of the farmers now have children going to college. So it's been a great success.
So you're really looking at the total, like everything from not only their health, their education, but also their income and their livelihood, and actually helping them to take care of themselves, really, in doing that and providing a vehicle for doing that.
Yes, so we have a bit of a tagline that says taking communities from subsistence to surplus. And I guess the tool
great.
that we use for that is the model that we have, which is called the HEALS. And so HEALS stands for health, education, agriculture, land sustainability, land redemption, and the S stands for sustainability. So those are the components that we look at and investigate ways in which we can apply that will really upskill the people, train the people so that they then can be self-determining, so that they don't need to have continual donors supplying, but they can look after themselves and then be advocates and ambassadors to other communities that can follow and do likewise. So
So
yeah, we like.
like, Christina, let's get down to some nitty gritties as to how it works, and then we'll talk about how we're going to go and visit these so that people can see it working in person. So essentially, each of the people in the village have a certain size block of land, and on that block of land, you've worked out a plan for them to have a certain number of goats and also raise certain crops and things that sustain them. Is that correct?
Yes, yeah. So basically, our requirement is that farmers that want to work in the project with us have a hectare of land, and when they come to us, the way we select people is they work through a training program, which includes going out and measuring the contours of their land and actually building up a blueprint for their property. And that blueprint will include a special mix that our teams developed. So there'll be 40% cash crops such as bananas or coconuts or something like rubber trees, things like that. And then 40% of their land will be used for livestock, and in this case it's goats. So that includes the feed for goats. Our goats are all organically fed, and then the final 20% is where their home is, where they have their own garden for their daily provision of fruit and vegetables for themselves. So that's part of the program. We've realised too that training up the adults is just as important as providing education for the kids as well, the students, the young people. So we have quite extensively trained our farmers, the ones that are working with us, in animal husbandry and in how to milk the goats and hygiene around handling food. So it's been quite a holistic program in that respect. And I guess the exciting thing for us a couple of years ago was a grant given to us by the Australian government, where we were able to put up a nationally registered and approved processing facility for the goat's milk. So you go and there's all of these little tiny villages with very basic housing, and then right in the middle of them is this amazing looking milk processing facility. So and even that in itself has brought a sense of pride and a sense of participation from the people in the community, because they're in an area where often government does very little for them. The road is just a rocky road. It's not really a proper road. So to have something like the milk processing facility and the opportunities that are coming now with the expansion of the goats is quite incredible for them. They're seeing things that they would never have believed that they would have seen before. So
it's great. So what I like about this model is you're helping them grow their own food to take care of their own family.
Yes,
you're giving them they're earning cash money from the crops that they're buying, but they're also earning money from the goats. So you're helping them to breed the goats. You're providing them a way to take it. Like, obviously they're milking the goats, and I think you said to me that the kids are actually on their way to school. They're bringing in the goats to be processed in doing that.
Yeah.
But you've also got a program in regard to building up the goats and like breeding them, because obviously goats have to be pregnant to provide milk.
Yes.
So to keep them pregnant. And you've got a special insemination program that's happening around that as well.
Yes, right at this very moment as we speak. And I guess that's one of the things too. Often you can basically we've run things on a very tight budget, but we've always been looking for how can we make this the best that it possibly can be. And as part of that, actually this week we have a goat geneticist from Melbourne who's up in the project, and he's working with our team up there to teach them how to inseminate the goats. And part of the reason for that is we are looking at developing a unique breed of dairy goat for the Philippines. So it'll be an animal that is able to withstand the climatic conditions there, that will produce potentially, or what we're hoping for is double the milk that our goats currently produce. And so that it'll upgrade the stock that is currently available in the Philippines. So it'll be of benefit of not just to the people in our community, but actually to the nation. So that's really exciting, because often you can contribute, the little bit that you do can actually make a big difference to a nation. And so we have lots of people that are going to be there on Thursday when all of this starts to happen. People from the National Dairy Authority and from the Animal Bureau of Animal Industry, because they've all never seen this before. So, and as I said before, part of what will happen too with these Indigenous farmers is they'll get the opportunity to be part of something that is brand new in this country, and I think that's exciting too. People that often are looked at as being, oh well, what would they know? Suddenly they'll become experts in this new field because they will be seeing it and participating in it. So I think that's very exciting. I'm excited by it.
So what I love about this, Christina, is that you're taking natural skills, but you're also working in the spiritual realm too, and it's a bit like you're seeing multiple births from the animals too. The animals have quite a high birth rate, so it's kind of like the multiplication of God is stepping in. You're talking about increasing milk rates and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, so the goats are now producing all this milk. You've got it at a processing facility. What are you doing with the milk?
Well, at the moment, the milk is being sold probably about 2 hours away from where it's being produced. And at the moment, too, we have a greater demand than we have a supply for. So even just this week with this geneticist that's come from Melbourne, he's looked at the project and been able to work out a way in which we can change a few things in our process so that we can actually have more milk available for sale. So that's exciting. So with our goats increasing and with this new project, the insemination project, and developing a new dairy goat, we're building up our milk supply, or anticipating the building up of our milk supply, so that we can start moving into other areas as well as the production of milk. One of the things that we're looking at currently to be developing over the next 6 months is establishing a commissary down in Davao, which is the main city in Mindanao. And part of the reason for that is so that we can do some value adding to the milk. And the first product that we're looking at doing is manufacturing gelato, because Filipinos love sweet things. So we figure by making gelato and using some of the beautiful fruits that you find in Mindanao, like mangoes and pineapples, we can cater to that love of sweet things, but at the same time we can value add to our milk and potentially take it from earning us $2 a litre to $30 a litre. So, and that then will enable us to sponsor more children to school and also to expand the work that we're doing with farmers. So, that's what we're looking to do.
So, and then obviously go from there. And I don't think it's only Filipinos who like sweet things, as my wife would say. I think I like a bit too much sweet things too myself. Justin's laughing.
Well, we'd love to encourage Australians to come over and.
So, And Christina, that's right. You know, you'd love to encourage Australians to come over, and that's one of the whole reasons
Yeah.
why we're doing this Facebook Live tonight is because, like, it's a model that can be duplicated, not just in the Philippines, but in other countries around the world. But it's also a model where you guys actually need some further investment as well. So because you've reached a stage where you've done very well to get to where you are, but there is a need to take the capital to another level that you need as well. So people, and we can talk about, you know, if people, obviously they can talk to you about that if they would like to invest in you too. So Justin, I'm going to bring you back in now. So what I love about this project is we've got two social enterprises that are coming together to help each other in doing that. So, Justin, your social enterprise with Trips with Purpose are putting a trip together to go to Mindanao and visit there, and then I'm going to get involved too because I want to go on this trip as well and help lead people to do that. So, Justin, let's maybe what I might do is bring up. Let me share my screen and bring up.
It's amazing, the technology. Imagine doing this 20 years ago.
You wouldn't be able to do it. Okay, so we've put together this, or you've put together this Nobel Endeavours Entrepreneur Tour, which is from the 16th of January to the 22nd of January next year. It's hard to think, like, that's actually not that far away. When you
Not
think
far away. It'll come very quickly.
Okay, so talk to us about this tour, Justin, and I can go through this page.
Okay, so I sat down with Ian and Christina a couple of months ago and said, okay, how can people catch the heart of this project? So I know for me, when I didn't have a heart for the Philippines at all until 2 years ago, and I went on that one mission trip, and then everything changed, and I've been back 4 times in 2 years. And something happens when you go. You capture the heartbeat of what's going on. So the best way for business owners and entrepreneurs to find out about this project is actually go and see it for yourselves. So what we said was, how are we going to give people an opportunity to really experience? And we come up with a 7-day itinerary, which is like sort of going to Asia 30 years ago. So a lot of Asia is very developed and very westernized, but one of the beauties of this trip is that you'll actually be going into some rugged country where there's not many white people and not many Coke signs and McDonald's or none of that. So you actually really be going into these communities which Ian and Christina have transformed. So it's 7 days, and we've broken it up so that you can actually visit the 2 communities, see the goats, also see the schools. There'll be pickup from Davao Airport, and all accommodation will be is included. So the price that we've come up with is for absolutely everything, just to make it really simple. Once you get to Davao, the price includes absolutely everything. You do need to pay for your own flight to Davao, and people will be coming from all different places. So we'll leave that up to you. On this website, there's a 10-minute video which with Ian McKay and also Ian Harry, who's you can see there. Ian is the Director of Ethical Harvest, so he talks a lot about that, and a bit more of an intro from Ian McKay as well. We'll also be doing some river rafting. So one of the things I love about this trip is we'll be walking into the village, which is the backpack, and then rafting out. So that'll be quite exciting. Also be able to go to the milk facility and also taste the gelato as well. That will be asking people if it's on their heart whether they want to invest in it. All the financials have been done for the investment, but really what we'd like people to do is just go and experience first and just see whether it captures your heart. And then you can find out more about the financials at a later date. But the aim of the Ethical Harvest is it is for profit. Nobel Endeavours is an Australian NGO charity. Ethical Harvest is a for-profit, for-purpose company that will pay dividends and also be involved in growing into the new projects like turmeric in the future as well. Okay, so What else would you like to know?
Well, so the key page is if they go to tripplus.com.au, and I'll actually put there's a lead plate at tripplus.leadpages.co/Nobel. So I'll actually put this link in underneath the video as well. So basically what we're looking for is people to say, yes, we want to go. They contact you, they pay a $49 deposit, then there's 3 times $600 monthly payments to be made between now and the end. And then on top of that is their airfare, so that can be worked out around the schedule and depending on where you're coming from in Australia or overseas.
Yes. So from Sydney, it's easier. You leave on Wednesday, the 16th of January at 6 a.m. and you'll arrive at Davao at 5 in the evening. Okay, so it's all day. For people coming from Brisbane, you're probably better off, unless you want to arrive at midnight, which is probably not a good look. You can if you want to arrive at midnight, but you mightn't be that great for the next day. So for people from Brisbane, we recommend you go the day before, Tuesday the 15th at 11 a.m. and you'll arrive, you'll still arrive at 10:50 that night, but you'll have the next day to sort of sleep in and recover a bit, waiting for the people from Sydney to arrive.
Yeah, okay. And obviously if they're coming from other cities around the nation, then we can work that out with them as well. Okay, in doing that. Well, that's great. Well, I am very excited about this trip. I think it will be fantastic. Christina, it's great to see what you and Ian and the other team have been doing as well. I think it's time for us to see many more examples of this raised up around the world. So well done. Is there any final comments that you want to make, Christina or Justin, you'd like to make before we sign off?
I forgot to mention, because you will be looking at the investment opportunity, I believe that for business people and for people who are interested in investing, the trip should be tax deductible, which takes a big chunk off the cost. But talk to your accountant about that.
It's always good to get as much as we can tax deductible, isn't it? Speaking from the accounting point of view. And
actually, and the other thing I will mention is that our social enterprise, one of the things we do is to employ Filipinos. That's actually why we set it up.
Yeah.
We set it up to employ people in the original area where I went 2 years ago on that mission trip. So we have a girl called Prisha, a 23-year-old, who was going to Abu Dhabi to leave the Philippines like many, 11 million Filipinos. But now, because of us, she lives in her local town, goes to the same church, is growing in leadership there and doesn't get fractured from her family. So there is also a lot of social good embedded in what we do at Trips Plus as well.
And, Justin, you say that very glibly, but having lived in Saudi Arabia and worked with a number of Filipinos there and seen the breakdown in families that occur because so many of them have to go to overseas to earn the money to send back to support the family, that is actually a huge thing.
It is. And at the heart level, that fracturing was what drew us to start Trips Plus.
Yeah. You do
that was the God-heart encounter.
So it's not only the heart fracturing that's taking place in the Philippines, but it also seeking to aim to heal relationships and families here by giving them something that, fathers and sons or, parents and children, whatever that combination looks like, can do as well and work together as well, which is fantastic. In doing that. Christina, is there any final comments that you would like to make?
No, just come. And in a couple of weeks' time, we should have a fantastic video that'll, in fact, Ian's son Stuart was over there and he took the drone through the goat barn. So you'll be able to have that experience once he's finished editing the video. So if you want to leave your details, then we can make sure that you get that, or we can get Wes to post it up on his site so that you can have a look at it. But it's going to be great. You'll see some of the amazing places that you'll get to visit, as well as the even have a go at milking a goat. Might be a fun experience.
I seem to be finding myself in much more farming situations lately, so it'll be It'll be fun to
And you also need to go on a diet before you go, which I always do, because the food we have got prepared for you is absolutely unbelievable.
yes.
From lechon kawali, which is a pig on a spit, to the locally grown goat and chickens, which will come from the farms, the organic nature of the farms, to seafood. So yeah, Philippines is beautiful food, but yes, go on a diet before you go.
And no doubt get some exercise and things in place as well. And my wife and I have very fond memories of all the Filipino food that we've eaten over the years from our Filipino friends. So looking forward to it, just as long as we don't give them too many aphrodisiacs while we're there. Just in doing that, because I've noticed, they just had me eating strange things like fish eyes and all sorts of things, which I didn't actually eat because I'm not that adventurous in my food. But anyhow, that's another topic. Well, thank you so much. So basically, if people are interested, they can either contact myself and I'll put them through to you, Justin, and to you, Christina, or they can go to Trips Plus as well, Trips with Purpose, and then we can get them signed up for the trip as well. And Justin, this is only one of many other trips that you're planning. You've got a medical trip as well, and others that you've got coming up too. So
yeah, we've just launched as well, hot off the press, a Schoolpreneur Combat Poverty Tour. So we're going to be taking schools over the Philippines to visit the social enterprise hubs that we know about, which could include Nobel Endeavours and also some of the other ones that we know about, as well as do the house build, visit some of the churches, to the cultural scene. So that's something to look forward to as well.
Excellent. Well, that's great. Well, thank you. We've gone a lot longer than what I was expecting to do tonight, but it's fine. It's been great to hear more of the story, and please prayerfully consider going on the trip in January, or you checking out, if you can't do that, to check out Noble Endeavours further. And for those who have some have some cash that they would like to invest in the project as well, we can put them in contact with you and go from there. Well, bless you guys. Thank you so much. And we look forward to this.
Good night.
January, and good night. Okay.
Good night. Thank you. Bye.